Alright, this might be a long video. A video response to Nick the Modern Mystic. I haven't been watching too many of his videos, but I did catch one from a couple days ago. And, he was just talking about his life, part of it, where he was scrubbing floors for the super rich. And saying how it didn't, he was talking about the class warfare kind of thing in terms of a resentment thing. Like he had no resentment for their wealth, and that's never been my argument. We shouldn't resent the wealthy like we want to be them or something, or even the fact that they have without earning isn't even the point. The point is the waste of it. The point is that you even scrubbing a tile floor for automobiles that shouldn't even be made is the waste of it. Because if those resources were dedicated to making people's welfare, their lives better, improving their condition, the condition of life, education, the elegance of it, for the average human, that would be a better expenditure of the resources. It's a matter of efficiency. They can't have that. Like I said, it's a waste of your resources. Would you rather be washing that tile floor or washing the floor? Washing a floor is kind of a silly concept, but doing something more productive, building a nuclear power plant, or doing something that creates infrastructure that makes people's lives better, yeah, exactly. You have to concede it would be more gratifying if that work was more constructive. Realistically, all of us can just get satisfaction in a job well done. Well, not all of us, but me and you could probably agree on that. We probably had the same ethic. No matter what job I had, I did it as the best I could do the job. That was it. For my own self-respect. But certainly there's a big difference between, when you're working for somebody and you're stealing or cheating somebody and you're just doing it to make your living, and doing a job where you really love the work you're doing because it's helping other people and it's making their lives better and making them more comfortable. That's a huge difference. I felt really good when I was delivering newspapers because it was people who depended on me because they really liked getting their newspaper. They really liked reading their newspaper, a specific time of the day, and they wanted a newspaper there. And so I could get satisfaction in the fact that I made sure their newspaper was there, no matter what. And it was gratifying, and there was an efficiency to that, where there'd be no efficiency if I wasted my labor serving the silly needs of some extravagant, preposterously wealthy asshole. So it's not a matter of resenting them, it's a matter of resenting the waste. And so, okay, anyway, I didn't mean to speechify. So anyway, he did a follow-up video. It was just incredible. Ugh. Me and Nick agree on the futility, the pointlessness of life. Life is stupid. But I can't understand how somebody with intelligence can talk this rubbish that he talks. This is just fucking insane. I don't know how he converts the futility into meaninglessness. I don't know whether that's incredibly courageous of him or something, because he's basically saying, I don't care. If you tortured me, I wouldn't care. Because he doesn't care if you torture somebody else. So I can't make any sense out of it. So I'm going to start midway through here. As it just goes on and on and on, and you just can't, one sentence follows the next, and you're saying, I can't believe he just said that.
Because maybe, taking it another stage back, I don't even believe in me. I don't believe, I don't believe there is a me here. But it's not an intellectual basis for a nihilistic view of the world which makes me not care. It all comes, or has come, it's arrived in here as a package of, that's just how these thoughts arise here, that I don't think bothering about all these things is of just little importance. No importance to me. I take interest
Yeah, so I mean, he'll discuss like how people live, and he'll point out that that person is living different than that person, or something else for no good reason, but to make the distinction because he notices. But he doesn't care that somebody suffers and somebody wastes. I mean, it doesn't matter. It there could be 10 million, it could be 10 billion, there could be 10 trillion. It doesn't weight on his consciousness any that suffering would exist in excess or in some form that was easily prevented.
In pointing out this, that, and the other, and financial stuff and other things. But no, I'm not invested in any of it. I see no importance in any of it at all. That being said, I go on to, I can see how people, normal people, think in the world. So, like with this Euro talk, and USA talk and world talk, I see what's happening in the world, that it goes through historical changes. I mean, you're a history man, you know this. And where we're moving now is towards, I don't like to call it fascism because I don't understand the words very well, but I think it's where governments will take over everything. Whether that they all then come together and make a new world order, one world government or something. Again, I've not enough input, and certainly nothing, I don't care. But I just like to point out to people that's what's going on. Like with the...
He says he doesn't care, but he likes to point it out to people because somehow he thinks they care. And so but it still doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I didn't want to get into this economic stuff, but anyway, he's basically going to say that he's for this Austrian way, this real hard capitalism shit. And he thinks that's the way things should be, and he sort of has an affection for the 1700s or something, and the kings. He likes kings. And it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't have anything to do with any kind of equation where words like fairness and equity and efficiency mean something. I don't know how anybody could be... He has the mind of an engineer, and yet he has no perception that the concept of efficiency would be important to the human race. It stuns my intelligence to contemplate how he draws that equation.
The Martin Wolf video, which should have gone up earlier, that things have gone in that direction so far now that government have got so much control. I do believe there is truth in this Austrian way of economic thinking. As soon as government take over a certain amount of control, like the Reinhardt and Rogoff line of if you go over 90% in debt to GDP, things happen in your economy. I think as soon as government take over a certain amount of the economy, I think things happen. That's at a certain line. I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah, well, there's no way you can take these things and draw them to some parallel and some historical parallel that's that exact. So I think it's kind of silly. I mean, obviously, if the government becomes in cahoots with the king, which are the corporation, the nobles, which are the corporations essentially, the people are going to drive a pitchfork through that just as likely as they're going to drive a pitchfork through the actual king. So I don't buy this argument that the people are going to be stupid enough to say I will be a servant to Walmart. I mean, that's just kind of silly. If they see that is what the truth is, they are going to reject it.
And then as soon as that happens, things happen in your economy which ultimately will lead to things happening, which is the little people get crushed. The corner shop will be taxed to pieces because the government will link with Tesco's, or in the United States it would be Walmart, or Boeing, or BP, and all the big powerful people will get together and make rules among themselves that best suit themselves, and anything that's not connected to the huge stuff at the top has to pay for the structure of the big people getting together. Again, I don't care I'm only here to point it out. I'm not bothered at all that I love, I've just been watching Forsyth Saga now for over a month, because we watched it from the start to finish and then watched it again. Victorian times, I'm quite happy with that. As I said in my video yesterday, I'd be happy in upstairs, downstairs, always being downstairs and just watching. I'd just be watching the rich people having everything and being miserable, and I'd be watching this.
Yeah, well, they're not that miserable, though, Nick. I mean, that's just, that's wishful thinking. Yeah, I mean, they're still going to they're going to run into the same crap that we all have to run into. But obviously, the extent of the misery or the hardship or the suffering is going to be lighter in many respects. It's just silly to say that